Heartland Season 20 Episode 1 just dropped, and I'm not going to lie, I cried. After 19 seasons of watching Amy's journey, seeing her stand at this crossroads between everything she's ever known and the future she's been afraid to dream about hit differently, this episode doesn't waste a single second. It throws us straight into the emotional chaos of Amy's decision, Nathan's sacrifice, and a family trying to hold it together while knowing things will never be the same. If you've been waiting to see whether Amy will actually leave Heartland Ranch, whether she'll say yes to Nathan's proposal, and how the family will handle losing her, this episode answers some questions while raising even more. And trust me, the way they set up what's coming this season is absolutely heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. The episode opens with Amy standing in the barn early in the morning, and you can immediately feel the weight on her shoulders. She's looking around at everything like she's trying to memorize it. And it's clear she's been up all night thinking about Nathan's proposal and the move to Salt Spring Island. The writers did an incredible job showing her internal struggle without her saying a word. You can see it in her eyes, in the way she touches the stall doors, in how she lingers on every little detail. This is the place where she grew up, where she fell in love with Ty, where she built her entire life. And now she's faced with the possibility of leaving it all behind. It's emotional right from the start, and you feel every bit of her conflict. Lou notices Amy's been acting different, and being the protective older sister she is, she confronts her about it. Their conversation is one of the most genuine moments we've seen between them in a while. Amy finally opens up about Nathan's proposal and the opportunity to move to Salt Spring Island. She tells Lou that she wants to say yes, that she can see a beautiful future with Nathan and Lindy. But the thought of leaving Heartland and everyone she loves terrifies her. Lou, in her classic Lou way, tries to be practical about it at first. She asks Amy about the logistics, the distance, how often they'd see each other. But then she stops herself, and you can see her own emotions starting to surface. She realizes this isn't about logistics. This is about her little sister growing into a new chapter of her life, and even though it hurts, Lou knows she can't hold Amy back. The scene ends with Lou hugging Amy and telling her that whatever she decides, the family will support her. But you can see the tears in Lou's eyes, and it's devastating. Meanwhile, Nathan is dealing with his own struggles. He's trying to finalize the sale of his property to cover Heartland's losses from the cattle situation, and it's not going smoothly. There are complications with the buyer, and Nathan is stressed because he doesn't want Amy to think he's pressuring her into anything. He made this decision to help the family and to build a future with Amy, but now he's second-guessing whether he moved too fast. His friend calls him about the Salt Spring Island ranch, asking if he's still interested because there's another potential buyer. Nathan has to make a decision quickly, but he can't do it without knowing where Amy stands. The pressure is building, and you can feel the tension in every scene he's in. Back at Heartland, Lindy is picking up on the fact that something big is happening. Kids are so intuitive, and she keeps asking Amy questions about Nathan, about the ranch on Salt Spring Island, about whether they're going to move. Amy tries to reassure her, but she doesn't have all the answers yet herself. There's this beautiful moment where Lindy asks Amy if they'll still be able to visit Grandpa Jack and everyone at Heartland, and Amy promises her that no matter what happens, this will always be their home. It's sweet and heartbreaking at the same time because you know that even though they can visit, it won't be the same. Lindy seems to accept this, and honestly, she's handling it better than some of the adults, which is both adorable and sad. Jack has been quieter than usual, and you know that means he's processing something big. He's watched Amy grow up on this ranch, and the thought of her leaving is hitting him hard. There's a scene where he's working in the barn and Amy comes to help him. They work in comfortable silence for a while, and then Jack finally speaks up. He tells Amy that he's been thinking about Ty and how proud he would be of the woman she's become, and the mother she is to Lindy. He says that Ty would want her to be happy, to take chances, to live fully. And then he tells her something that absolutely broke me. He says that losing her to a new adventure is hard, but it would be harder to watch her stay out of obligation and wonder what could have been. Jack gives Amy his blessing to leave, and it's one of the most emotional moments of the episode. You can see Amy fighting back tears, and honestly, I was fighting them back too. The episode shifts focus to Katie, and we immediately see that she's struggling with her own complicated feelings. River and Dex are now officially a couple, and watching them together is clearly tearing Katie apart, even though she's trying her best to hide it. There's this painful scene where the three of them are hanging out, and River is completely oblivious to Katie's discomfort. Dex, on the other hand, seems to notice that something is off with Katie, and he keeps trying to include her in conversations and make sure she doesn't feel left out. But that almost makes it worse for Katie, because his kindness just reminds her of why she has feelings for him in the first place. She excuses herself early, claiming she has work to do. And you can see River looking a bit hurt that Katie is pulling away. This friendship is on shaky ground, and it's only going to get more complicated as the season progresses later. Katie has a conversation with Amy that hits different. Because of everything Amy is going through herself, Katie opens up about feeling like she's losing River to this relationship. And Amy listens without judgment. Amy tells Katie that friendships change as we grow up, and sometimes that means making space for new people and new experiences in each other's lives. But then Amy says something really insightful. She tells Katie that if her feelings are making it too hard to be around River and Dex right now, it's okay to take a step back and protect her own heart. She reminds Katie that being a good friend doesn't mean sacrificing your own emotional well-being. Katie seems to really take this advice to heart, and you can tell she's going to start setting some boundaries, which is probably healthy but also means more distance between her and River. The whole situation is messy and realistic, and I appreciate that the show isn't trying to rush through it or make it simple. Tim is being Tim, which means he's deflecting his emotions about Amy potentially leaving by throwing himself into ranch work and making big plans for Heartland's future. He's talking about expanding operations, bringing in new horses, and basically acting like nothing is changing. Jessica sees right through it and calls him out. She tells him that he needs to talk to Amy and tell her how he really feels, instead of pretending everything is fine. Tim gets defensive at first, saying that Amy is an adult and can make her own decisions without him getting all emotional about it. But Jessica doesn't let him off the hook. She reminds him that he's spent years trying to rebuild his relationship with Amy, and if he doesn't tell her what she means to him now, he might regret it forever. This finally breaks through Tim's walls, and you can see him realizing that he needs to have a real conversation with his daughter before it's too late. The confrontation between Tim and Amy is raw and honest, in a way that their conversations haven't always been. Tim finds Amy in the loft and he sits down next to her without saying anything for a moment. Then he starts talking about all the time he missed when she was growing up, all the mistakes he made, and how grateful he's been for the chance to be part of her life these past years. He tells her that the thought of her leaving terrifies him because he feels like he's losing her all over again. But then he catches himself and says that he knows that's selfish. He tells Amy that she deserves to chase her dreams and build a life that makes her happy, even if that life is somewhere else. He gives her his blessing, but you can hear his voice breaking as he does it. Amy hugs him and tells him that no matter where she goes, he'll always be her dad and she'll always need him. I'm not going to lie. This scene had me in tears because their relationship has been through so much. And seeing them finally in this place of mutual understanding and love is everything. Nathan finally gets the courage to talk to Amy about where things stand. He tells her that he doesn't want her to feel pressured by anything he's done. He explains that he bought Gracie's share and decided to sell his property because it was the right thing to do for the family, not because he was trying to force her hand about moving. He says that if she's not ready to leave Heartland, they can figure something else out. They can make long distance work, or he can find a property closer by, or whatever she needs. But Amy stops him and tells him that she doesn't want him to change his plans. She admits that she's scared that leaving Heartland feels impossible, but that she knows deep down it's what she needs to do. She tells Nathan that she wants to build this new life with him, that she wants Lindy to grow up seeing her mom take chances and embrace new adventures. And then, in the most beautiful moment of the episode, Amy says yes to his proposal. The engagement moment between Amy and Nathan is everything you'd want it to be. It's not over the top or dramatic. It's intimate and real. Just the two of them standing in the place where they've shared so many important conversations. Nathan doesn't have the ring with him because this wasn't planned. And honestly, that makes it even more perfect. Amy laughs through her tears and tells him she doesn't need a ring right now. She just needs him and this promise they're making to each other. They hold each other for a long moment, and you can feel the relief and joy radiating from both of them. But even in this happy moment, there's a bittersweet edge because they both know what this decision means. It means saying goodbye to the life Amy has always known. It means uprooting Lindy from her family. It means Nathan letting go of the property he built his business on. But they're choosing each other anyway, and that's what makes it so powerful. When Amy tells the family about her decision to accept Nathan's proposal and move to Salt Spring Island, the reactions are mixed but ultimately supportive. Lou tries to be happy for her sister, but you can see her struggling to hold back tears. She keeps making jokes about visiting and video calls, but her voice keeps cracking. Jack gives Amy a long hug and whispers something in her ear that we don't hear, but it makes Amy cry. Tim shakes Nathan's hand and tells him to take care of his girls. And there's a weight to those words that shows how far Tim has come. He's trusting Nathan with the two most important people in his life. And that's not something Tim does easily. Jessica hugs Amy and tells her how proud she is of her for taking this leap. Even Georgie, who's been dealing with her own busy life, makes a surprise appearance and tells Amy that she's inspired by her courage. The whole family gathering feels like a celebration and a farewell at the same time. And it's emotionally overwhelming in the best way. Katie watches all of this happening with Amy and you can see something shifting in her perspective. She's seeing what it looks like to make hard choices for love, to be brave enough to step into the unknown. There's a moment where she catches Amy alone and asks her how she knew Nathan was the right person to take this risk for. Amy thinks about it and tells Katie that she didn't know for sure, that love always requires a leap of faith. She says that Nathan showed her through his actions that he was someone who would stand by her, someone who respected her past while building a future with her. Katie is clearly processing this, relating it to her own situation with Dex. You can almost see her wondering if Dex could be that person for her, or if she's just caught up in feelings that will pass. It's a quiet moment but an important one for Katie's character development. The episode then focuses on the practical side of Amy's decision, and this is where things get real. Amy has to figure out what to do with her clients, her horses, and her equine therapy business. She can't just pack up and leave without making arrangements. And this brings its own set of challenges. Some clients are understanding and supportive, but others are upset that she's leaving. There's one particularly difficult conversation with a client who's been working with Amy for months on a rescue horse, and the client feels abandoned. Amy tries to refer her to another trainer, but the client says it won't be the same. This scene is important because it shows that Amy's decision has ripple effects beyond just her family. She's built a reputation and relationships in this community, and walking away from that isn't simple or easy. You can see the guilt weighing on Amy, but she knows she can't let it stop her from moving forward. Nathan is dealing with his own complications regarding the property sale. The buyer is trying to renegotiate the price at the last minute, which would mean Nathan can't fully cover Heartland's losses the way he intended. He's furious but trying to stay calm because he doesn't want to stress Amy out when she's already dealing with so much. He calls his friend about the Salt Spring Island ranch and there's bad news. The other potential buyer has made an offer, and Nathan's friend needs an answer within 48 hours or he's going with the other buyer. Nathan is now in an impossible position. He needs to sell his property to buy the new ranch, but the sale is falling apart. He considers taking out a loan, but that would put him in serious financial strain. The pressure is mounting, and Nathan is starting to crack under the weight of trying to make everything work out perfectly. Amy notices that Nathan is stressed, and when she pushes him to tell her what's wrong, he finally breaks down and admits that things aren't going according to plan. He tells her about the buyer backing out and the deadline for the Salt Spring Island property. Amy can see how much pressure Nathan has put on himself to make this dream happen for them, and it breaks her heart. She tells him that they'll figure it out together, that she's not in this for a perfect plan or a perfect ranch. She's in it for him and for the life they're building as a family. This conversation strengthens their bond even more, and they decide to approach the situation as a team rather than Nathan trying to handle everything alone. The next part of the episode brings an unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. Jack sits down with Nathan privately and tells him that he's been thinking about the situation with the property and the financial strain Nathan is under. Jack, in his wisdom and generosity, offers to help Nathan with a loan to secure the Salt Spring Island ranch. While Nathan sorts out the sale of his property, Nathan is completely taken aback and initially refuses, saying he can't accept that kind of help from Jack, but Jack insists, telling Nathan that this isn't just about him, it's about Amy and Lindy, and Jack wants to make sure they have the security and stability they deserve. As they start this new chapter, he tells Nathan that family helps family, and whether Nathan likes it or not, he's family now. This moment is incredibly touching because it shows Jack fully accepting Nathan into the family and trusting him with Amy's future. Nathan is visibly emotional and finally accepts Jack's offer, promising to pay him back as soon as his property sells. Jack just nods and tells him he knows he will. It's a beautiful moment of trust and connection between two men who both love Amy deeply. With the financial pressure somewhat relieved, Nathan is able to move forward with securing the Salt Spring Island ranch. He and Amy make plans to visit the property together before finalizing anything, and they decide to take Lindy with them so she can see where they might be living. The trip to Salt Spring Island takes up a significant portion of the episode, and it's beautifully shot. The island is gorgeous, and you can see why Nathan fell in love with the property. The ranch itself is stunning, with rolling hills, a well-maintained barn, and the horse rescue center that Amy is so excited about. When they arrive, Lindy is immediately enchanted by the place. She runs around exploring, and her excitement is contagious. Amy walks through the property with Nathan, and you can see her starting to envision their life there. She imagines where she'd set up her training areas, how she'd organize the rescue center, what their daily routine might look like. For the first time, leaving Heartland doesn't just feel like a loss. It feels like the beginning of something beautiful, but even in this hopeful moment, Amy has a vulnerable breakdown. She and Nathan are standing on the porch of the main house, looking out at the sunset, and Amy just starts crying. Nathan holds her and asks what's wrong, and Amy tells him that she feels guilty for being excited about this new life. She feels like she's betraying Ty's memory by moving on so completely, by building a life with someone else in a place Ty will never see. Nathan listens and then says something that absolutely floors both Amy and the audience. He tells Amy that he's never tried to replace Ty and never will. He says that Ty will always be part of her story, part of Lindy's story, and part of the foundation of who Amy is, and he's okay with that. He tells her that loving her means loving all of her, including her past and her grief. He says that Ty would want her to be happy, to live fully, to give Lindy a beautiful life, and he promises to honor Ty's memory by taking care of the family Ty loved so much. Amy is sobbing at this point, and honestly so was I. This is exactly what Amy needed to hear. And it shows once again why Nathan is the right person for her at this stage of her life. Back at Heartland, things are shifting in preparation for Amy's eventual departure. Lou starts making plans for how they'll manage the equine therapy side of the business. After Amy leaves, she considers hiring someone new or possibly taking on more responsibilities herself, though she's worried about balancing everything with her other commitments. Tim suggests that maybe Katie could step up and start learning more about the training side of things, which surprises everyone. Katie has always been more interested in other pursuits, but Tim points out that she's grown up around horses her entire life and has a natural way with them. Lou thinks it's worth exploring, and when they bring it up to Katie, she's actually intrigued. She admits that she's been feeling a bit lost lately, unsure of what direction she wants to take, and maybe working more closely with the horses could give her some clarity. This feels like the beginning of Katie's journey toward potentially becoming the new central character of Heartland, and I'm here for it. The final act of the episode focuses on Amy's last few days at Heartland before the big move, and the writers absolutely nailed the emotional weight of this transition. Amy spends time in all the places that have meant the most to her over the years. She sits in the loft where she and Ty spent countless hours talking about their dreams. She walks through the barn, stopping at each stall to say goodbye to the horses she's worked with. She stands at Ty's memorial and has a one-sided conversation with him, telling him about Nathan, about the move, about how scared and excited she is all at once. She asks him if she's making the right choice, and even though we don't hear an answer, you can see peace settling over her face. It's like she feels his presence giving her the permission and encouragement she needs. These quiet moments are some of the most powerful in the entire episode, because they show Amy honoring her past while stepping into her future. The family throws a small gathering for Amy, Nathan, and Lindy before they leave. It's not a big party, just an intimate dinner with everyone who matters most. There's laughter and tears, stories about old times, and hopes for what's ahead. Jack gives a toast that has everyone reaching for tissues. He talks about watching Amy grow from a young girl with a special gift with horses into a woman of strength, compassion, and courage. He says that Heartland will always be her home, but he's proud of her for having the bravery to build a new home somewhere else. He tells Nathan that he's gaining not just a wife but an entire family who will support them no matter what. And he tells Lindy that she's lucky to have a mom who shows her what it means to take chances and follow your heart. By the end of Jack's speech, there isn't a dry eye at the table. Lou adds her own words about how much she's going to miss her little sister, but how excited she is to watch this next chapter unfold. Even Tim manages to get through a few sentences about how proud he is before his voice breaks, and he just raises his glass instead. Katie has her own private moment with Amy before she leaves, and it's incredibly meaningful for both of them. Katie tells Amy that watching her make this decision has taught her something important about love and courage. She admits to Amy that she's been struggling with feelings for someone who's in a relationship with her friend, and she doesn't know what to do. Amy doesn't judge her or tell her what she should do. Instead, she shares her own experience of navigating complicated feelings and relationships over the years. She tells Katie that sometimes the right thing to do is painful, and sometimes you have to sit with uncomfortable feelings until clarity comes. She reminds Katie that she's young and has time to figure things out, that she doesn't have to have all the answers right now. But most importantly, Amy tells Katie to be honest with herself about what she really wants and needs, even if that honesty is hard. Katie hugs Amy tightly and thanks her for always treating her like an adult. and giving her real advice instead of just platitudes. This moment cements the bond between them and sets Katie up for her own journey of self-discovery in the episodes to come. The morning Amy, Nathan, and Lindy are set to leave is absolutely heartbreaking. Everyone gathers outside to say their final goodbyes, and it feels like the end of an era. Lindy is excited about the adventure but sad about leaving her family, and she makes everyone promise to visit soon. Amy hugs each family member, taking her time with each goodbye. When she gets to Jack, they hold each other for a long moment, and Jack whispers that he loves her and he's so proud of her. Amy tells him she loves him too and that she couldn't have asked for a better grandfather. The truck is loaded up with their belongings, and as they start to pull away, Amy looks back at the Heartland sign one last time. The camera holds on her face, and you can see every emotion playing across it. Sadness, fear, excitement, hope, gratitude, love. It's all there. The family waves until the truck disappears from view, and then they all just stand there in silence, processing what just happened. Lou puts her arm around Jack's shoulders and Tim puts his hand on Katie's back, and they all walk back to the house together, knowing that life at Heartland will never quite be the same. The episode ends with a montage that shows Amy, Nathan, and Lindy arriving at their new ranch on Salt Spring Island. They unpack boxes, explore the property, and start making the place feel like home. There's a shot of Amy in the barn with the rescue horses, and you can see the joy and purpose on her face. There's a scene of the three of them having dinner together in their new kitchen, laughing and talking about their plans. And then, in the final moments, Amy steps outside onto the porch and looks up at the stars. She touches the engagement ring on her finger and smiles. And you know that she's exactly where she's supposed to be. The screen fades to black and we're left feeling emotional, but hopeful about what season 20 has in store for all of these characters we've grown to love over the years. This first episode of season 20 sets the tone for what promises to be an incredible final season. It's emotional, it's honest, and it doesn't shy away from the complexity of major life transitions. Amy's journey has always been about growth, healing, and finding the courage to keep moving forward even when it's hard. And this episode delivers on all of that while opening up new storylines that will keep us invested for the rest of the season. I cannot wait to see where they take these characters next, especially with Katie's storyline heating up and the promise of seeing Amy and Nathan build their new life together. If you loved this episode as much as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my breakdowns this season. Drop a comment below and let me know what you thought about Amy's decision to leave Heartland. Do you think it was the right choice? Are you excited about the Salt Spring Island storyline? And what do you think is going to happen with Katie, River, and Dex? I want to hear all your theories and reactions. This season is going to be special, and I'm so glad we get to experience it together. I'll see you in the next video where we'll break down episode 2. Until then, happy watching!